What happens when a conspiracy theorist becomes the subject of his own conspiracy? Meet Brian Pear, a Canadian man who found himself caught in a web of his own making. Pear was well known for spreading conspiracy theories about the government's role in starting forest fires. He spun tales of deceit and deception, accusing the Canadian administration of igniting these disasters to manipulate public opinion on climate change. Pear's digital footprint was a trail of these theories, his social media platforms serving as his pulpit. But in a twist of fate, Pear himself pleaded guilty to setting not one, not two, but 14 fires. The same man who pointed fingers at the government for sparking wildfires was himself the Firestarter. His accusations, once directed outward, had boomeranged back, placing him at the center of an ironic narrative. Ironically, Pear's actions turned him into the very villain he'd accused the government of being. From May to September of last year, Quebec was set ablaze, not by the government, but by Brian Pear. Let's delve into the alarming repercussions of Pear's actions. 14 wildfires, ignited by one man's misguided beliefs, caused chaos and destruction throughout Quebec. The town of Chapay was hit particularly hard, with around 400 residents forced to flee their homes due to the encroaching flames. But the devastation didn't end there. The largest fire, Pear confessed to starting, obliterated over 870 hectares of land, a stark testament to the destructive power of these man-made infernos. But how was Pear discovered as the perpetrator of these catastrophic fires? It all began with the troubling frequency of wildfires without an obvious cause. This unusual pattern raised the eyebrows of police and first responders, leading them to scrutinize the situation more closely. Their attention was drawn to Pear, a man with a peculiar fascination with fires, making him a person of interest in their investigation. The plot thickened when law enforcement delved into Pear's digital footprint. They found social media posts where he blamed the Canadian government for intentionally starting wildfires, a claim that was entirely without merit. This, combined with his unusual interest in fires, fueled their suspicion. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place when police obtained legal permission to attach a tracking device to Pear's vehicle. This allowed them to connect Pear to the locations of the fires, providing the damning evidence needed to apprehend him. Pear was caught in the act, his own actions betraying him. Despite Pear's wild claims, the reality of wildfires is far more complex and far less sinister. The wildfire season of 2023 in Canada was one for the books, setting a new record by scorching approximately 18.4 million hectares. This is not the work of a nefarious plot, but a stark testament to the changing climate. Climate change, in fact, has been found to be a significant factor in these devastating wildfires. It has made the hot, dry and windy weather that fuels these fires at least twice as likely, and up to 50% more intense. This is not a tale of secret agents and government plots, but the unfortunate reality of a world grappling with environmental changes. Conspiracy theories, like those spread by Pear, have been circulating, stoking fear and misinformation. These theories suggest that these fires were intentionally set to manipulate public opinion on climate change. However, the evidence overwhelmingly supports the role of climate change in exacerbating these wildfires, not government subterfuge. The truth, as it turns out, is not a conspiracy, but a consequence of climate change. Brian Pear remains in custody, and the world awaits his sentencing.